What's the sluttiest thing you've ever done? I did this semester in Paris. And we stayed at a place called the FIAP. It's like a hotel for traveling class groups from all over the world. Hotel rooms. With classrooms if needed. My group from the US was there for 3 months. But many other groups from nearer countries were on shorter trips. Especially week-long, since they often left on Saturdays. Friday nights became the social time when they would hang out at the cafe on the first floor for last night shenanigans. And those did happen. Most of my group was mid-20s. But I was 18 and still figuring out confidence. But I did go there one night, when a group from South Africa was having their last night. I ended up taking one girl back to my room to have some fun. After we were done, she said, "My friend down there really liked you too. You should see if she's still there." I was more than a little flabbergasted. But she was still there. She was more daring me to play with her in semi-public areas before she also came up to my room. The following Monday, as we were getting to class, this kind of mean girl tried to tease me, loudly saying so. The worst thoughts. "I saw you bringing a girl to your room the other night." I was so oblivious. I answered, "Which one?" The classroom erupted. I've never received so many high fives. And it took a few years before I ever saw a girl blush harder than that mean one. Oh god, this is a tie. Met a girl on Tinder that used to be a stripper and is a current cam girl. Thought she was joking and called her bluff asking to go to the club she used to work at. Went there and had free entry and drinks all night. Went back to my place. She stripped for me. Had some 7/10. Woke up the next morning and she asked if she could use my room to do a cam show. About halfway through her show she walks out and says one of my regulars noticed I was in a different room. I told him I was at a guy's house and he just paid me $100 for you to me. I obliged and she gave me $50 of it. Second is there was a supervisor from work, we'll call her Amy. I thought was pretty cute but she'd turned down going out twice so I left it alone. Her friend, we'll call her Belle, an operational manager step higher than a supervisor. Let me know Amy doesn't like going out with people from work but they go out for drinks all the time and Amy actually had interest in me. Belle and I set up a plan where her and Amy will go out for drinks. Belle will text me where they are, and I'll accidentally run into them. Fast forward to that night, we are all hammered and get a lift back to my place. Belle passes out as soon as she gets to my place and Amy and I go at it. The next morning Amy wakes up and gets a lift to work. Belle wakes up shortly after, rolls into bed with me, and says, "Do I get a reward for helping you out last night?" and proceeds to suck the soul out of me. 5/7 night. Probably wouldn't do it again though. I once jerked off to the comment section of an AskReddit post. Straight male here. I let my girlfriend peg me. I had given her before, so it was fair game. Wow, that was enlightening. I learned how vulnerable getting penetrated can make you feel. And I'm not even going to lie, I moaned like a I went to a Southern Baptist school growing up that was insanely strict and overbearing. You would be suspended for basic PDA like holding hands or hugging, and to make matters worse, teachers had eyes on the back of their heads. This made for some pretty rebellious times when a few of us devils would plan ahead to try sneak in a makeout session in the few places we knew we could get away with it. Now, our church chapel doubled as the school theater, and unless we were having mass or theater class, that chapel was locked down 24/7. We were having a dress rehearsal in theater class my senior year, when I was backstage and realized that someone had left the key in the back door exit behind the stage. There were 2 keys on the keychain and after trying both, I realized they were the same key for the same door. I quickly pocketed one off the keychain and no one was the wiser. This was the kind of good fortune my horny and sexually repressed teen self dreamt about. I had the hots for this girl and we had managed to sneak away several times, make out, and get our hands under each other's shirts a few times too. But nothing more because we were always so scared of getting caught and expelled. Her parents were hardcore Baptists. Dad was a pastor and would never let her go anywhere on weekends, not even to sleep over at a friend's house. She would often slip me a folded note saying the dirty things she wanted to do. I want to feel you in my mouth. Inside me, I want to know what your tastes like, etc. We spent months just needing a place to do it. And finally, this key was my golden ticket to the Factory. The opportune day arrived when she told me in the hallway before first period. My sister has junior high choir today, so my mom is coming an hour late to pick us up. You need to get out of study hall last period and meet me behind the chapel. I made up an excuse to the dear old librarian hall monitor that I needed to do work in the computer lab since I was behind on a project. The kind Christian lady let me go easily. Bless her. I casually walked across the campus and made sure to not be spotted heading behind the chapel. Sure enough, she was there waiting for me and we snuck in and locked the door. We both lost our virginity that day inside that holy place, and for 30 minutes we quietly our frustrations goodbye. We felt like normal, happy kids in each other's arms in that dim-lit church. I will never forget the sluttiest thing I have ever heard in all 32 years of my life as she whispered in my ear, "God's watching us. I want you to." The Jesus out of me. We never did get caught. And if there was a God watching, I'm pretty sure he's the one that left the key in the door for me that day. Thoughts and prayers. Was at a bar when a girl sat next to me and asked if I wanted to make out. I said yes. Partly helped by all the shots downed earlier. Ended up having a threesome with her and her ex in a bedroom upstairs. Only learned their names the day after. The guy ended up becoming my boss a few weeks later. One time a girl drove 2 hours to have with me. We had pretty much all day, but my dad was about to be home, so I was trying to get her to leave. Well, my dad arrives, so I force her to go out the back. When she's walking to her car in front of my house, my dad goes, "Look, cute girl, go get her number." Little did he know. He knew. Banged a dude in the parking lot of the school. Arrived to chemistry class with in my eyebrow. Does reluctant work count? Used to clean houses naked for money. I'm poor, and I'm trying to apply to med school. Guy slut moment. Got blown by 2 goth chicks in a graveyard. Edit. Since I've had multiple requests for details, I will give them to you pervs. The 90s goth scene had a girl-guy ratio of about 5:1. If you, as a guy, were willing to put on platform boots, makeup, and tease up the hair, you would have to try very hard not to get laid regularly. There just wasn't any competition. I had the added advantage of being singer, guitarist in a band that was fairly well known in my area. One night immediately after we finished our set, I was getting my gear picked up off the stage. I felt a hand running through my hair from behind. May had waist-length black hair, and it was a feature for a lot of goth girls who liked me. I turned around and then a very pretty girl was standing there smiling at me. She said, "I love your band. I love your hair." I went home with her and proceeded to her for the next few weeks. She wasn't really my type for relationship purposes. She was really into magic and spells, and it was hard to keep a straight face when she was talking about it. But wise things worked pretty well. One night, her stripper friend stayed at her house for whatever reason. We got a little drunk on screwdrivers. Her friend actually had fire tattooed between her thighs. We'll refer to her as fire thighs, or FT from here. We were joking about her tattoos, that they meant she had gonorrhea. At one point she actually pulled her panties down and showed me that she was very clean. The girl I was banging thought my dumbfounded reaction to her friend was hilarious. So we decided to sneak into a local cemetery that was a popular spot for college students to drink and hang out. You got a view of the whole city from a hill. It was nice. We were drinking and sitting in front of a mausoleum that we had dubbed the Vampire Castle because it was huge and kinda scary at night. My fuckbuddy was being really silly and kept putting fire thigh-sift hand on my crotch. FT kept saying stop it, but she was laughing too. At one point my friend was holding FT's hand on my and wouldn't let go, and FT just started rubbing. They were giggling about the fact that I was hard as a rock at this point. Next thing I knew, my was out and in their mouths. It was pretty good. Not going to lie. My fuckbuddy finished me off with her hand, but I got to on FT's face, which was pretty cool. I think we planned to go home but we had snorted clonopin at some point and we were way too tired. That was disappointing because I really wanted to. FT. A couple of weeks later I broke it off with my friend so I could date the singer of another local goth band. So I never got to do the full-on three-way with FT. That's my story. A little weird to type all that out, but it I'm pretty sure you get an achievement for that. Met a girl on Tinder. We went to the mall together. Within a few minutes, we were in her car next to a rather busy car dealership. Each other's brains out. Dealership workers definitely saw. Nearly every other time we had. We were in her car on public property.